Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. It's another paid request. This time for Kyle. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both things are down below in the info box. PayPal is usually the best bet. Like I say, it could be a topic, review, commentary, reaction, re-review, video game let's try, whatever the case. Now this is for Arthur's Missing Pal. Now Arthur is based on this cartoon, which I didn't grow up with. I did see, I believe, one special. I think it was Kyle himself who had requested that one too. But I'm fairly much in the dark with Arthur. It was on PBS. PBS I didn't really watch much as a kid, because back in the day we had 4 channels as a family. 2 CBS, don't know why 2 of them. ABC and PBS. And PBS, once in a while, we would see maybe a little bit of Reading Rainbow or Sesame Street, maybe a little bit of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. But even by then, I'm like watching Predator and Aliens and Die Hard. So I'm watching TV shows like Home Improvement or cartoons like Ninja Turtles or things of that nature. But Arthur's been around for a while, a few decades actually. Was it 25 or so seasons, give or take? Now, this is his first and only CG movie that came out in 2006, where really the plot is Arthur is with he's sleeping, he just woke up by his dog named Pal, thus Arthur's Missing Pal. Buster, the rabbit, the bunny, comes by on his roller skates. They don't get in a water balloon fight with someone else. The dog needs to take the leak, but they don't notice. They just think it's being a distraction. They lose the fight. They all go to the Sugar Bowl, which is a dessert parlor. The dog really needs to go bad, and then once Arthur realizes what might be going on, he gets back home. His dog is missing, and the rest of it's him trying to find his dog. And then the last third of the film is he got an idea where the dog is, but then the dog goes from A to B to C. Him and Buster and the friends go to get the dog, and things work out for the best. Now, the CG, man, it does... I do think they should have gone with just an animated film instead of just CG. I'm sure they went with CG because they thought it would be spiffy and this newer, not new technology, but unless you're Pixar or something else, don't go with CG because it didn't look that great at the time, and that stuff ages poorly. I mean, the cheaper CGI animated films from back in the day, they just look really clunky. They don't have a charm to them, at least to me. I'm not going to sit there and say it's as bad as, what was that food one? Food Fight? It's not that level, but a traditionally animated film would have been much more pleasing to the eyes. I'll put it that way. And you tell there's a reason why they did not do CG. From what I understand, did not do CG again with Arthur. Especially the way certain characters move and things of that nature. Now I heard that, okay, they got some of the voice cast, but some of the other voices were not the same as on the show. So some is the actual voice cast, but some are doing their own impersonations. And apparently a lot of fans were not happy with it. In fact, I looked at it, and this gets like a 4.4 or something on IMDb, like fairly low. So it seemed like a lot of fans were not fans of this movie. And I mean, at the end of the day, there's not really a whole lot to it. Kind of sitting there going, why was this a movie to begin with? But you're sitting there going, okay, this is meant for like a 4 or 5, maybe a 7-year-old. It's not meant for me. And if I go through the film, you see Arthur sleeping. And when the credits start, you get this like wannabe Mission Impossible music that just seems very intense. And it just didn't fit with the rest of the program. So Arthur gets woken up because his dog licks his foot or his paw. I'm like, ew. I mean, I don't want anything licking my foot. And I don't think the animal will like licking my foot either. You know where that foot's been. So he wakes up. His sister is a Arthur's sister is a big brat in this movie because she's got some thing that she's decoding and she'll win this contest and it spells out boo. No kidding, because it's a boo ice show. So lo and behold, it spells out boo. And she just bad the dog because it messes up, but then she gets it like 10 seconds later, gets it all back anyway. So she's just being a brat. Honestly, her mom should have spanked her. And it's one of those weird things that for a kids movie, it's weird that the inciting incident is someone needing to take a leak. Maybe I'm the only guy that thinks it's a bit weird. Maybe people say it fits his childish or his juvenile, but or just hey, a dog needs to go. You know, a dog needs to go. A dog needs to go. What can you say? It's a it's a part of life. It needs to go. What else can it do? But at the same time, I'm sitting there going, is this really how was this really the incident? I mean, it could be like the dog misses its owner. The dog wants to find its owner because it feels lonely. The dog wants to play. And maybe it gets sad and doesn't feel it's wanted, so it runs away. No, it needs to take a lead. Okay. I guess, why not? At least the rest of it is pretty much. At one point, the dog tries to use the toilet. Not like we do, but he tries to get in the toilet, but he probably realizes this ain't really the best option. But then it cuts away, and we don't find out till like the very, very end of the film as to what happened. Which makes it even more irritating because that means a certain character had pertinent information that she could have said a lot earlier, but she didn't. It makes her even more of an asshole. But Pal needs to pee. He can't get outside to pee. So when they found out the dog's missing, Buster, you motherfucker. He gets his fingerprint kit. And probably the only two character moments he did is Arthur realizing that he says he's not a good owner. I'm a bad owner, he says. There's all the times where he like left the dog outside because he was playing with friends or eating with friends in the dessert parlor or whatever. And Buster, where he's got this fingerprint kit, but he realizes he's not good at mysteries. And there's like a montage of all these series of films he would watch with Arthur, but he was always get the mystery wrong. I guess as a favorite moment, I guess it would be that because it tells you a bit of Buster, tells you a little bit of his character, and that he means well, and he's still trying to guess, but he doesn't get it right. He gets it wrong each time. So just a little bit of a character trait. So it gives him a bit of more motivation of how he really wants to get this right. Not just to help his friend, but to finally get a mystery right. I wish they played even more into that. By the end of it, I should say. Because from time to time he brings out the little investigation stuff, but well, I'll get to that. I mean, actually, there's not much to talk about afterward. There's a couple songs in here. I didn't really care about the songs. There's one where we see a bunch of stars and they make up, like Arthur and the daughter playing, and they're all made of stars. I just showing the good times they've had with each other. he realizes at one point his dog is at this ice cream factory, and there's these other bad dogs trying to get him, so he's able to escape. The dog runs out, they can't find it, it gets picked up by this truck driver, but you also find the driver is actually part of this Moo Ice Show that Arthur's sister won and is going to. She realizes something's up, tries to contact Arthur. He doesn't listen. And then Buster's like trying to figure something out, but he doesn't truly figure something out. Like if it was his one moment to shine. And that's the thing, like Buster being the investigator. Okay, now we could finish his character arc where Buster finally figures something out. But he doesn't really, because there's this thing, this notion of these three towns, and how do these three towns connect? But then they're watching TV, and Buster's ready to say something, but just, oh, it's nothing. Then he watches the TV. And it's Arthur that figures it out. Wait a minute, what did it say? Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. And DC. At least if it was Buster figuring it out, it would be like the first time he finally figured out a mystery on his own. And then it'd be up to Arthur to do the physical deed and get his dog back, but let Buster get the full mental deed of figuring it out. So, hey, I'm not too bad of an investigator. But I don't think they really follow that through as much as they could. And pretty much they chase the truck. Trucker stops. She gives the dog back. Things are fine. You find out again that the sister had let the dog out. Where she yelled at the dog and says, fine, but don't let me say I told you so. Pretty much yelled at the dog as if the dog understand what she's saying. And like, what? So it was her fault all along. Damn brat. I guess if you're a diehard Arthur fan, I don't even know that because it's just like a 4.4. I would assume the people rating it are the ones who are fans of Arthur. Again, I've only seen one other special. It was the Christmas one. And that I liked more than this. That one, it felt like it was a little bit more to the characters. It's just a little bit more to the story. Where you had Buster and his mom. And his mom went through a divorce, so she adamant on Christmas. You have the one kid, even the subplot where he keeps making this food, but it keeps not coming out right. But ultimately, he just decides to buy some just cookies from the store and pretend it's his to feed the homeless. There's a subplot with like his uncle. There's really not much going into the story here. It feels like a story that would work for a 20-minute episode, not for a full-length film. Well, I say full-length, it's like an hour and change, to be fair, but I don't think there's enough story there. It feels fairly stretched out for its running time. And the other friends, you don't really see a whole lot other than them at the dessert parlor and then when they're helping out at the end. Like I said, it was an hour and change. At the very least, it was short. But nothing that really is gonna... I will remember 2 hours from now. But it is what it is. But like I said, if you're a diehard fan of Arthur, I don't know how you would feel about this movie. Maybe if I was, I'd be like, what, really? Like, you finally make a film, and this is what you do with it? Like, this is the story you go with? Like I say, it's weird that for a full-length movie, I didn't, hour and change to them full-length, that this is the story you would go with. Like I said, it just felt like Arthur and company didn't have a whole lot to do. But, yeah, what do I know? And like I said, the CG was a big mistake. Because I don't think it's that great looking of a movie. I don't know if at the time people thought it looked neat, but in comparison, when you look back on it, it just looks very ugly. Not the worst, but just looks just doesn't hold up. But with that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye bye.